Grant, thanks for taking the time with me. You're Chief Innovation and Digital Services Officer. How does smart cities play into this role?
I think we're living at an interesting time where we're seeing the construct, particularly of mobile operators, who have been thought of as providers of basic connectivity and voice services. And we've been rethinking our roles into how we can morph into providing other services, specifically in the context of smart cities. These revolve around some of the attributes that mobile players have built over the last 20 to 30 years very successfully in terms of developing mobile brands that people trust, customer touch points that people can regularly interacting with. And all of these can be morphed and reframed in the context of smart cities. Smart cities need brands that people can trust. They need consumer and customer experience touch points that people like to go to. And so I think there's a very nice synergy that mobile operators can create with providers that are building smart cities.
I've spoken to a lot of people from governments, and they talk about all the initiatives being driven by the citizens, actively involving the citizens. How is a mobile operator, where do you get your main drivers from, apart from the traditional make the profit?
It's very interesting. I mean, everyone is very familiar with the tremendous growth of mobile technologies, and that can really is a double-edged sword for a mobile operator, because while we've seen tremendous growth, there are huge requirements for us to remake ourselves very regularly in terms of what we are to consumers and how well we provide services. So you've really seen over the last 20 years mobile phone operators morphing from basic utility providers to consumer-centric brands. And this is a phenomenon that I think is being replicated in what consumers or citizens expect of their government and expect of their cities. So I think understanding and having the experience of a mobile operator over the last few years has a lot of relevance in what governments are going through in terms of remaking their services to become more consumer-centric.
And do you actively work with government initiatives?
Yes, we do. We've got several major initiatives in the context of Malaysia, as well as the other operating countries where we operate mobile operators. The most interesting part about it is how do you develop consumer-facing brands, enhancing consumer experiences, because the expectations of consumers has, number one, changed and is really heightened. So consumers are a lot more activist in terms of what they want from service providers. And so we've had to actively change as well. And we're bringing that experience to bear, particularly in the context of within Malaysia, the usage, for instance, of our customer service points as pickup points for e-commerce players. And people can order online at some of our several e-commerce properties and pick up their goods at places where they previously used to only pay their mobile service bill.
Certainly a lot of people during these sessions have said a smart city can't be a collection of initiatives, or even from a technology point of view, individual things. Everything has to be connected and work together. Yeah. So this must play very much into your cards.
Yes, it does. And it's almost become the mantra of the age, right? No one can do it alone. Everyone's got to be able to collaborate with one another. And so internally we are facing that challenge, which is how do we rebuild our technology? How do we rebuild our customer service processes to integrate into those of others? And so no one, as John Donne said, no one's an island. And we are seeing that happen. And so how do we now create those the ability to create linkages between not only technology providers, but mobile phone operators and governments and consumers.
And what you're seeing here in China, and how relevant is that to what you're doing in Malaysia?
It's very exciting to see, the coherence of problems, as well as the thought processes, and everyone's converging on several key things, collaboration being one of them. And it's not only a bilateral collaboration, but really multilateral collaborations that need to be put into place.
And the initiative with the TM Forum and ZTE, is that also relevant?
I think it's really exciting to see, traditional, what I would consider heavy iron companies like ZTE really taking a leap of faith, if you will, together with organizations such as the TM Forum to try and articulate a completely new framework from that of that's held sway for the last 20 years. So it's on one hand really brave and bold, but second, I think it's one of the few things that will differentiate Yinchuan for being the first to really discover whether these things work or not.
Thank you very much for your time. Very interesting insight.